Greetings! I'm Epictetus, and this is Epic Tech. And I am back, and my cold is mostly gone, and I've got time to play, and I'm excited. How are we doing? We have a whole bunch of power cells. That's good news. Actually, wait, let me see. Production. Still need a bunch more. Oh, I actually do have all the power cells I need. I forgot I'd already moved them. Aha. Okay. Well, we'll get there in a second. We're going to disassemble all these other tools here, which will give us some more bits and pieces that we might need for other things. Specifically, I need a drill, because I was reminded by a commenter that there is actually hidden underneath, I think, this tower right here, a large reactor. Or a small reactor. I don't remember. Yay. I can even upgrade to an elite. Alright, let's go see if we can find a reactor. Haha! There is a small reactor right here. Excellent. Does it have anything in it? No. That's okay. It's got reactor components. That's what matters. Sweet. So this means that my big old machine here can actually have a reactor, as well as a battery. So I'm going to want those as protected as possible. Yeah, let's do that. And then we're going to put our reactor on one side, like that. And the battery on the other side, like that. So we need some more power cells and some more other junk. Okay. Power cells. We have a battery. Reactor. We're short a few computers. Now hopefully that will be enough power to at least let me use this a little bit, because I really want to. Piston. Reverse. That's all I really need. So our piston is going to have a maximum distance. We're up 2 blocks from the ground, I think. So that would be 5. Should be okay, I think. Let's find out. Oh, beauty. Are we up? No, we're not up 2 blocks. Yeah, we're up 1 block. So, maximum distance needs to be 2.5. Let's go ahead and make the speed a little bit more. Double it. For now. Yeah, that's good. We could go a little bit lower if we wanted to, but we really don't need to. Let's go faster. This thing's too slow. Let's go for 2. Oh, see? Nice and fast. We'll even try faster. But first... Yay! We have a reactor. And I might even have enough to finish that off. Not quite. We're going to need a lot of steel plates and a lot of metal grid. Well, at least the steel plates. The metal grid would be nice too. So we now have enough. We actually have some power. So I want to drive this just a little bit and make sure we're not going to explode and sink into the ground and all that kind of thing, because that was predicted. It's doing pretty well so far. It's not fast, but I didn't expect it to be. Okay. And I'm keeping it nice and slow for now. Just wanted to make sure that we didn't have instantaneous explosions. think we may need to have this lower a little bit more. Just a little. Maximum distance 3 seems reasonable. Yeah. So we're going to do something. I'm going to put this uranium in here, but then we're going to actually turn this reactor off by default. Because I want to actually put a bunch of solar panels on this and have it generate most of my power. Otherwise, well, there's going to be potential issues, you know, like running out of power. And I don't want to one day show up and find that this thing is completely empty and I have no alternative way to fuel. You know what I mean? Now, a lot of what needs to happen next is going to be moving. For one thing, I want my assembler to be on my base. Do I keep walking around this? That is not a window. Silly me. Okay. So, yeah, the assembler needs to move over there. I'm going to want an oxygen generator. I'm going to want a cryo chamber, but we've done this a dozen times before, and I don't need to show you guys yet again. Okay, I've moved quite a bit. I ended up having to turn this on for a second, but I'm going to turn it off now. Yeah, because it's got some power in there, and we're getting some from the sun, which is nice. This is just a temporary location for now, I think. But I'm getting a lot of bucking bronco moving around. You see this? It's not as bad at this moment, but it has been worse, and it's making me nervous. You can actually see the wheels starting to sink into the ground and things like that, and I've fallen through... Speak of the devil, I've fallen through the ground a few times. One time I was actually able to make my way back out, like that, instead of having to use creative tools. But I never have that problem sitting on a grid, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put some armor blocks. Actually, let me grab some actual steel plates here. Should be enough for now, because I don't even need to build them, I think. And I'm just going to go and put... Come on, large, thank you. I'm just going to go and put a couple of... Oh, jeez, don't do that to me. Armor blocks in front of the wheels. Then I'm going to see if I can just kind of roll this thing forward a little bit up onto those. And hopefully stop right there. Might need to make those platforms just a little bit bigger.
No fuel.
You're fine. Oh, wait. No, you're not. Right, because the assembler and the oxygen generator, cryo chamber, all these things take power, even when they're not being used. That's show in terminal. Oh, I guess you can't turn the cryo chamber off. Never mind. There we go. Assembler and O2 generator are off. Then hopefully now... Okay, the battery is actually gaining charge instead of losing it now. That's good. There we go. It's a little wonky, but that's okay. I don't care. The key is it's not bouncing around, and I don't feel like it's going to fall through the ground at any moment. And I don't really think it would in the end anyway. Just because it's got these 6 huge tires, and not all of those are going to fall through. And every time it started to sink, if I moved it even just a little bit, it would pop up out of the ground and drive just fine. So I think we're going to be okay. It's just while it's sitting still. And I'm thinking I might also go ahead and put a landing gear on there somewhere that can kind of lock in place when we're stopped, you know, when we're assaulting a base and I'm going to be away from the vehicle for a little while, just to kind of get around the whole bug, if you will. So, anyway, I'm going to keep moving things back and forth. Now, I've still got a lot of grinding to do, but as you can see, I've moved pretty much all of my inventory and items and whatnot up there. I've scavenged all of the solar panels and just kind of slapped them on top just to see if we can give that battery a bit of a charge. And now I'm just gathering as much steel as I can because steel plates seem to be kind of the limiter right now. And for some reason, I've always enjoyed doing this. I don't know why. Something about bringing the roof to me. Oh, that's right. I forgot. Dynamic grids, or dynamic grid conversion, or whatever it is, isn't turned on in this. So it doesn't automatically take split grids and turn the top one dynamic, which means this roof is not going to be coming down. Oh well. I like doing it in other games, or other, scenarios. I normally leave that turned on, but I understand why it's turned off. It would actually cause even more lag in this game. There we go. So I've got a front bumper, and I've got a back bumper. They're all welded up, which is good. Let's see, did I miss anything? Oh yeah, a few of these guys down here. See if I can... Oh, I'm basically out of steel plates. I also need to start taking apart this guy. And, you know, I'm thinking if I'm using enough steel plates around here that I really should probably start just grinding everything down. And if I'm going to do that, then walking around and doing it by hand probably isn't the smartest idea. So I think what I'm going to do is build myself a little flying grinder. Actually, can I make grinders? Yes, I can. So let's work on that. That should be enough for a small grid ship. By the way, this comment right here, actually the same commenter has asked on a couple occasions, and I promised one time I would and totally forgot. I have a system for how I keep, like, what items are on which hotbars. Because if you haven't played the game before, hitting Control 1 through Control 9, each one of these has a different set of things. And I have a very specific way I do it. Because each save game you start, each scenario you start blank. And you have to build that up on your own. Actually, it fills the first hotbar for you with some basic stuff, and I end up moving most of that around. But I do have a very specific way I handle my hotbars in both Space Engineers and in Medieval Engineers. And they're actually very similar. So I always keep my tools in the first few. Hang on, let's see if I'll pop this up so I can move my mouse around. So the first few are always my tools. And they'll sometimes switch around and that kind of thing. But for the most part, the first one is my building. And the second one is my destroying, give or take. So, in this case, welder and grinder. But then after that is kind of whatever tool happens to be useful for that area. The rest of the first hotbar is items I'm currently working with, and those change out constantly. These are the kind of the rarer blocks typically, though these aren't right now. I just haven't removed these. But as I'm working with something specific, I'll actually put it here. So for example, in this case, I'll probably put the grinder down there because I'm going to end up using him. Hotbar 2 is very basic blocks. This is actually a new thing for me. This used to be kind of, I think, small ship stuff, but I've moved all of my general layout blocks to this hotbar. 3 is typically shipbuilding blocks, anything I'm going to build vehicles with. 4 is cargo related stuff, so you'll see all my cargo containers are there, any conveyors, connectors, that kind of thing. 5 is base building stuff. So we've got our medical room, assembler, that kind of thing. And then typically on the right-hand side, I'll keep things like stairs and catwalks. 6 is my programmable stuff. 7 is windows. 8 is normally weaponry, and then 9 is specialty, but we haven't done any of that in this scenario, so it's not there. That's all. There you go. I just thought I'd give you a quick little rundown of why I jump around between toolbars and what items I put on which ones and what crazy logic there is to it all. So, on 3, I need to put down a landing gear to start with. That should lock into place. Yep. And then, let's see. I'm going to do, this is going to be a grinder, so I'm going to actually start off by putting my grinder on that, because it's all based around that grinder. I've got a large connector right there on the front, or on the back of that grinder. I think I'm going to go ahead and put my container there, and I'll use a medium. Should be enough. I could go with a large. I don't think I want a large, because that means more weight, which means more thrusters, and it just gets worse from there. Medium containers, yeah, they only connect in the front and back. So I'll leave that like that. I think to save on weight, I'm going to go with a remote control drone style. So we'll put our remote control right in between, because I am actually going to... I'm actually going to have 2 grinders on this side by side. Let's see, that should do it. Like that. We'll put the camera there. And then I'll put another grinder next to that, and that should be... Oh, nope. There we go. Yeah, that should be good. Now I'm thinking I could put a second medium cargo container here. That makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah, let's do that. Seems reasonable. Now let's get a thruster. Now that we can make these guys, small atmospheric thruster should be good. Actually, I got an idea. To save on power, I'm going to do it like this. I'm actually going to do this off-center. We're going to put a large atmospheric thruster right there. That's just going to keep us off the ground. Yeah, that makes sense. Right? It makes sense. Sure it does. Okay. And then we're going to need left, right, forward, and backward. So let's go ahead and put a forward there, backward there, and then we'll put a left and right here. And here. Until we figure out the actual capabilities of this thing, that's all we're going to do. Later on, we'll figure out, like, whether we need to add more or not. I like to go small at first.
Low.
Ah! Battery's about 2/3 full. That's nice. Oh, we're going to need a gyro. I almost forgot a gyro. Silly me. We'll stick that right on the back of the control panel, or the remote control. And we're also going to need power. But I think I've got some ideas for that. For one thing, I think we'll just go ahead and throw a small reactor in here for now. Just as kind of a temporary thing. Let's go grab some more parts. So on my old ship, I've got a bunch of stuff. Just remembered. Including gyroscope. Oops. I thought I had a reactor around here somewhere. I may have already removed it. Yeah, it looks like I did. Oh, we have enough for a reactor. That's good. Okay, so now that I've built this, I'm realizing that there are a couple of small problems. a few. Several. First of all, that thruster right there is pointing right at that thruster right there. So that's not going to be a good thing. I just need to move that. I also realized that this grinder, it will fill up, like whatever is inside of it. But then there's not, it can't transfer anything to this cargo container. So that's not going to work. But at the same time, the amount of space in these grinders is pretty reasonable. So I might just go without a cargo container, just for now. I just kind of want to see how far it'll go. Oh, jeez. Forgot that wasn't attached to anything. There we go. Also, I don't actually have an antenna on this. So we wouldn't be able to control the remote control without sitting on this thing, which kind of defeats the purpose. So we're going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to stick an antenna right there. Don't think I have... Yeah, okay. Just need a few radio communication components. And let's put back that small reactor. It sure would be nice to be able to just fly it over and dock it. You know, I think I want to do that. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this the right way. So I'm going to connect these two connectors, which means this can't be here. I'm like redesigning this whole thing now. So let's jump over to my connectors and thinking that, yeah, well, let's put a conveyor junction. These have larges on all four sides. And then we're going to put in a medium cargo container here. And then we need something to connect from there to there. So we can just use a curved. But then this is a piece that most people don't even know exists. Right now we've got this single small block space that we need to bridge that gap. And there is actually a part under conveyor blocks called a conveyor frame. And a conveyor frame, there we go, bridges that gap. Cool, huh? So now both of these grinders will be able to connect themselves, or will be able to dump all their stuff into this medium cargo container. And then we can place a connector on the back and we'll be able to offload. And now we've kind of got this space in here where we can put things like thrusters and whatnot. Okay, a few more motors, some small steel tube. There we go. This thing doesn't need wheels anymore. Just jam it down somewhere. Alright. That should be everything. Assuming I can actually get this off the ground. I mean, who knows how well these thrusters are going to work. We'll probably end up having to add more. But I'd rather add them as needed. Mm-hmm. Such a wonderful sound. Also... oh, that's not a good sign. Okay, well, let's go ahead and... Alright, so something's not working well, and I have a feeling I know what it is. So the large thruster needs a max of 2.4 megawatts, while that reactor is putting out half a megawatt. Yeah, had a feeling that was going to be an issue. So we're probably going to need a battery on this thing. Let's go ahead and shut it down. So let's see if we can find a place to smack a battery. I'm thinking right there. probably be a good spot. I need 20 power cells. Alright. Now I'm curious. I haven't looked recently at batteries, but they can put out... Yeah, they can actually put out 4.3 megawatts. So they're a lot stronger. Which means we should be able to get this thing off the ground now. I hope. Oh yeah, no problem. Okay. And let's set up this remote control to assign camera 2. Actually, let's also rename that to camera front. And here we go. Set up our grinders. Ah, beautiful. So this should all go quite a bit faster. Probably need... Yeah. The left and right does slide a little bit, but that's okay. It's kind of fun kicking this stuff around. It's getting a little bit dangerous, actually. Let's not get too close to my character. Okay, let's go set this guy down. Let's see how much he picked up.
Energy low.
Yes, my suit energy is low. Let's go fix that too. And I think we're going to actually have to end this episode pretty soon. So let's take a quick look and see what we got. Fair amount. Not a huge amount, but a fair amount. And it was definitely faster than doing it by hand. Though I am kind of tempted to add a third one. And even maybe a fourth one. Especially for these, you know, these buildings. They take time. Either that or a large grid grinder, which would go a lot faster. I'll work on some of that between episodes, and we'll work on more in the next episode. I'm planning on finishing off the, so what did somebody call it? The rolling base thingy, I think? I thought that was a pretty good name. The RBT. So we'll see if we can finish that off next episode and continue the story, because there are more places to visit. For one thing, I want to head back over to Mickey's scrapyard and turn in all this scrap that I've found. But, also, before anybody else says anything, yes, I have not been in that one yet. I remember, if I remember correctly, there is a live drone in there, and I'm going to have to fight him, or something. And so I've been avoiding that building quite intentionally. I kind of want to get the RBT all beefed up and ready to go, and then go over there and see, you know, what his capabilities are. It'll be a nice early test. We'll see if how quickly he shoots him down. But we definitely have some more work to do on the RBT. And yeah. So If you enjoyed this episode, then make sure and hit that thumbs up button, and I'll see you next time on Epic Tech.